Okay, so I have already created one class. Okay, so that class is test serialization. So test serialization is the class that I have created. So in that class, I have not written anything here. So let's write one main method. Okay, before that, let's create one class which I want to serialize. This is the employee serial is the class which I want to persist in my file system. I want to persist the object's state into the file system so that I can get it back. Okay, so this is the my class employee serial, and to make it serializable, I have to do serializable implementation. So a serializable is a interface which is a kind of a marker interface which does not have any method. If I go and take a look on this interface, you will find that there is no implementation. If you see here, there is no method. It is just a class, just a interface. It does not have any method inside it. Okay, so I'm implementing this serializable. Only JVM understands what to do if I'm implementing, because it is there is no method which I can implement on own. It is completely on JVM to understand that what to write, what not to write. So it has full control on serialization. So these are the properties which I have in this class. So I have employee ID, salary, name, its last name, and my company. So first three are pretty much normal declaration. Fourth one, that is last name, that is transient. When I mark any field as transient, transient field will not take part in serialization. So I cannot persist it. Same way static. Static is not part of any object, it is available at the class level, so it will also not take part in serialization. Here I have created one constructor, parameterized constructor, where I'm passing all those values inside the parameter. Okay, and I have all the getter setter for these variables except company, because company don't need it is already uh, static. So and I have overridden two strings so that I can print the detail of an employee. First is ID, then name, then salary, then last name, and then company. So let's put last name along with name so that it will be more readable. So last name plus salary. Okay, let's remove the last name from here. Okay, and finally company. Okay, let's create one object. Employee serial is emp is equal to new employee serial. I'm giving id as 1, name is say Shiv, salary I'm giving say 100, last name I'm giving as Tiwari. Okay, so let's print it. Let's rename this one to employee. Okay, if I print this one, I will get fine. So here I have printed one Shiv Tiwari 100 my company. So first one is ID, second is one is first name, that is last name, then salary, then my company. So far I have not done any serialization. I think there is some issue with this file. Now it's fine. Okay. So far I have not tried doing the serialization. Let's try to do the serialization. So serialization, as I said, it depends on writing the object and reading the object. Okay. So writing the object means what? I have to write the object state into some byte string. To do that, what this class has to do, this class has to write into that byte string, and for deserialization it has to read it. So for that, what I have done here, I have created one utility class that I will copy from here and paste over here. Okay, let's create one utility called class itself, which will help you to do some utility in your whole project or whole this session, training session. So that is utility. So I have created, I will just paste over here. Fine. So this utility class, I have written two methods, read object and write object. So read object, don't worry about too much this class right now. Just try to understand what this read object is doing, what write object is doing. So read object is taking the file and writing the object, sorry, reading the object from the file, and write object, I'm passing this file and what object I want to write, and it will write into the file. That's all you need to understand right now. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to write this employee into file. How will I do? I will call utility, because that is it has static methods. So I will write object file. I will use, say, I will create the file serialize amp dot ser, anything you can give. Okay. So I just imported it, and what the object I'm going to write, that is employee. Okay. Now this writing the object is throwing some exception. So I will not catch it, I will just throw it here. You can catch it if you want. If you want to do some perform some handling once you get the exception, then you can do. Otherwise, just throw the exception. So here I am just throwing the exception at the method level. So what this method, whatever exception it throws, I'm just throwing it back from the main method, from this main method. That is file not found, class not found, IO exception. These are uh, combination of check exception and non-check. These are checked exceptions. Okay. So here I have written that employee object into the file. Let's try to read it. So for reading, okay. So before reading to this object, let's see that what it has written into the file. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So let's open this file and see it. So here, if you see, it has written in some format which seems pretty much unreadable. Okay, so here my object states is serialized. Now if I want to read it, so what I will do, I will use this utility read object method. Okay, so this is, you can say that deserialize employee is equal to utility dot read object. I'm passing this same file because this is the file I have serialized the object. Okay, so once you do the read object, because it is returning the object, so what I need to do, I need to typecast into employee serial. Okay, now let's try to read the value of that deserialized employee. So this is something deserialized object, or you can say employee. If you run it, so this is the first one, the object before serialization. Then we serialize this object. That's what it written the object state into that file, and then I try to serialize. I will get the value. Okay, let's see this value in very in little bit. Let's see this value in detail. So this serialized object has last name as null. Why? Because null is last name I have marked as a transient. It means that it will not take part in serialization. So it is not, this particular attribute has not been serialized. Okay, so and last one, that is company name, my company, because it has not taken part in serialization, so it will not. But it is still part of your class. It is not part of your object, but because it is static, so it is part of your class. So that's reason you will see this value printed over here. Okay, so this is just beginning of to make you understand about serialization and deserialization. So here pretty much simple. You created the object. Okay, the object that is employee serial, which is implementing serializable. Then you are writing that object into a file, and then you are reading that object from that file and printing it back. Okay, so this is pretty vanilla case of serialization and deserialization. And here we understood transient and static will not take part in serialization. Okay, the value of last name is coming null because this is transient and did not serialized. My company, it is, you can see the value because it is at the class level, it is not at the object level, right? Okay, so now we will see what is the impact of changing the class while doing the deserialization.